Hey guys, what's happening? Hope everybody's having a good day so far. Yeah, we got some stuff going on. It's actually happening like right now. It's right, but I mean, as soon as I clicked live, I'm gonna show you what happened. I need to do this real quick though. I do plan on having this be a really quick stream. I did a short earlier, and then after I did that short, this happened. I'd really like you guys can start checking out the shorts. I'm going to start making more because YouTube is now showing our longer, promoting our longer form content when directly when somebody clicks on our short. So they'll see my short, but then they'll also recommend some of my other videos. So if you guys could, that would be awesome. Just check out the shorts. There's quite a few there already, but I just wanted to bring that up. So, but anyway, guys, so we're going to go ahead and jump into it. Check this out. Check that out. The last stream I did, guys, you can see what it did here, right? Remember I was talking about how low it was? And I was actually going to do a show yesterday before all this started to happen and talk about cosmic rays, because we were, if you look down here, you see how low the activity is geomagnetically? When we get this low for an extended period of time, more cosmic rays get through. So I was going to come on and talk to you guys about that and try to help people understand cosmic rays a little bit better. That's something we usually talk about during like solar minimum, because that's usually when, those things are happening. We don't have as many eruptions and all that stuff on the sun, so activity's low, which lets the cosmic rays in easier. But check that out. I don't even know what size that was almost an X-class flare, guys. Okay, did you guys see what I put in the on the thumbnail and in the title? Noaa was forecasting a 10% chance of an X-class flare. So obviously something's going on. I mean, they seen some stuff there. A 10% chance of an X-class flare, believe it or not, is actually kind of high. We don't usually it hangs around 1 or 2%, sometimes 5. But when they say 10%, we really perk up and start listening from then on out. But yeah, so let's see what we got going on here. I really would like you guys, if you guys could go ahead and share the stream out. That would be awesome, because I'm doing this at a kind of a weird time today. So I do apologize for that. I don't usually come on at 8:30 in the morning. I used to quite a bit, but not as much lately. So if you guys could, I would really appreciate that. It would be really awesome. I don't even see any mods in here. Yeah, you know I'm broadcasting at a crazy time when there ain't no mods in here, because I got quite a few mods. So yeah, wow. Anyway. You getting in an MRI today? Yeah, Kim, that's yeah. I wouldn't worry about it. Don't worry about that. That's not going to affect you there. Okay. That says okay. There he goes. All right, Stephanie. I'll make you one. Okay. Let me see if I can't get you. There you go, Stephanie. Thank you, by the way. All right. So, as you can see, it was a steady increase. Hey, AB, you can see this, right? I mean, look at that. So, and then I was coming on after I seen this one, because there was a couple of M-class flares. So I was like, well, okay. I'll come on and talk about it for a minute. But now, look at that. I mean, well, I tell you what, I bet you spaceweather.com has got the, nah, it hasn't even updated yet. Check that here. Let me refresh that. Yeah, it was an M7. That's substantial, guys. Okay? Just so you understand, that's a substantial. Yeah, got an M7. Yeah, that's what we were just talking about there, Silver. Yeah, M7 class flare. Pretty big one, okay? Now, I haven't looked at it yet, so you guys are going to get a look at it with me. It just happened. Silver Lining there was right. So, what we'll do first, usually I'll check down here on the absorption. Look at that. See? Because when the flare happens, guys, this is the first thing that'll happen. The X-rays will hit. They're traveling at the speed of light, so they're here in 8 minutes. And that tends to mess with radio frequency. So, you know, first responders and stuff like that use ham radios and stuff like that, they really pay attention to this. So this was actually this is a fairly decent sized one. It's one of the bigger ones we've had in a minute. I'll say that. But see all the flares all through the night. Okay, and then that was in M2 right there. And then M7. Okay? So, yeah. I just, yeah. Now, again, this isn't grid down or nothing like that. But we will be talking about this because I don't know if it, and I'll go ahead and give you a first look at this too. Check this out. This coronal hole developed, and then I called this a plasma island. Just a, you know, little play on words there. It's nothing like, you know, bad or nothing like that. It's just we don't usually see coronal holes that do this. And then you see an active area on the sun pop up right in the middle that big. This is something we usually see. I'm not saying it ain't never happened, because it absolutely has. I'm just saying that this we don't usually see things like this. Now, this sunspot over here, we're going to go into that in a minute, because that's an extremely rare situation there. And if you guys watched my short earlier, you would kind of understand a little bit already what I'm talking about. But we'll get into that in a minute. But you can see, look at this one. This thing is huge. That's a big sunspot. Now, it's rotating off. And what's interesting, I'll tell you what. Screw it. I'm just going to take you guys. Let's see. Let me see this real quick. Yeah. So there's really nothing geomagnetically happening to us right now. We can definitely, you know, we're going to keep an eye on it and see what's going on. Hey, Tommy, what's up, bud? And sorry, guys, if my throat's scratchy. We've been fighting in here at my house. As my brother Tommy there will tell you, I've been getting not really fevers. Well, fevers in the form of radio station numbers. You know, 103.5. But yeah, so this is something I wasn't expecting to see when I got on here today, guys, just to be honest. Things were so quiet, and just bam. Now, I will say this. September is the month where we get the most solar activity every year. So kind of keep that in mind, okay? Yeah, we were talking about that, Finch. It's there. Again, yeah. So we will, it's this one here. Man, that was so close to, yeah. Thanks, Stephanie. And thanks for stepping up being a mod when nobody else was in here yet. I really do appreciate that. You know, you've been here a long time, so I trust you. Hey, Hilly, what's up, brother? Good to see you, man. Hey, if you guys want a good Bible study, go over to Hilly's channel on Saturdays. He does a really good Bible study over there. Check him out. Gosh, man, I love your humor, Hilly. All right, so we're gonna check out this really weird sunspot first, okay? And I'm gonna do some explaining here a little bit, because this was newsworthy enough that most people, you know, some of the bigger channels were actually covering this. Well, spaceweather.com, Dr. Phillips wrote an article on it. So this is something that we don't usually see, right? And I did some research on it to see how many we can expect, like during a solar cycle or what have you. And I could absolutely find nothing on that. But what I did find, I found a paper basically saying that we should never see this. And so let me explain. And this is why this is really weird. And I'm not saying that this has never happened before, okay? I simply don't know. Through my research so far, I haven't seen any, like, you know, a 2% amount of the sunspots end up with this polarity. I've seen no numbers. I can't find any numbers on there. So that's telling me that's even more rare. There's not even really hardly any data on it at all that I could find. Yeah, Eric James, that's what that is. Actually, we'll just scroll down here real quick. See, check it out. This coronal hole was over here, but then this sunspot popped up in the middle and started to grow. Yeah, again, these are a couple of odd things happening at once, and it is in the southern hemisphere of the sun. So let me go back here before I start squirreling off too much, because I will. But this right here is what a sunspot should look like. Okay, and I know that nobody understands what I just said. Hardly anybody does anyway. I'm talking about polarity. So you got the red, negative, positive. That's what we're talking about here, right? So in the northern hemisphere right now, in this sun cycle, you got, I believe that's positive. I believe so. Positive, negative. I could be wrong on that. But usually when I'm looking at stuff, positive is the red color. So I'm not sure if that's exactly the color they use. But if you go down here to the southern hemisphere, it's going to be the opposite. See? So those are two sunspots, and they're showing opposite orientation on the polarity of the sunspot itself. Okay? And I talked about this before. Now, when these things start creeping close to each other, that's when they start flaring. So, yeah, look at this. And that ain't even the most recent capture. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to roll that through, and I'm going to show it to you, because you're going to see the positive get surrounded by negative polarity. See that? It completely surrounded that thing. And again, why is this rare? Well, because the orientation is not horizontal. It's vertical. We shouldn't really be seeing this, is what I'm trying to say. And again, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, because odd things happen all the time. But for a sunspot to have this polarity in this orientation that's vertical or perpendicular, you could use that word too, okay? It's really, really rare. I'll just say that. I've never seen one like this. And again, I think that they've seen it before, but I don't know. I couldn't hardly find anything on this. So just know that. And if anybody has any kind of links or something they could send me, I really would love to learn about that a little bit more. So that would be awesome if you could do that. But you see how that got surrounded? And this is why they're talking about flaring. This is probably why that did such a big flare. Gently crushed it. Anyway, but yeah, so let me run that back again. And I'm going to run this all the way back, because I want you guys to see the lifespan of this sunspot. Look at it. It's not there right there. Look at that. That was at, let's see what time was that. That was on the almost the turn of the day on the 24th. Nothing there, right? Well, there was a sunspot there. It just wasn't enough to really talk about. So, watch. Look at that thing grow. It's fairly impressive. Okay, I have to say. Not only is it large, it's complex, like I said. So, when we have a sunspot form, what it is guys, when the sun does a pole flip, right? That's the sun cycle, right? The north and south flip the poles on the sun. That's why in the next sun cycle, these colors in the northern hemisphere will be reversed. You got to think of it like a magnet. Positive, negative, right? So the sun's rotating, and the sun rotates at different speeds, rotates faster towards the poles. Okay? Because it's not a rock. Remember that. The sun is not a rock like we are. So the equator of the sun is it doesn't spin as fast. The equatorial regions don't. So what happens is those magnetic lines start getting pulled, because at the beginning of a sun cycle, the magnetic connection lines are straight up and down. And that's pretty much why at the beginning of a sun cycle, that's solar minimum pretty much, right? We don't see very many sunspots during that time. But as time passes and those magnetic lines start to get stretched horizontal, then they get little kinks in them and they pop through the surface. And that's what you see as a sunspot. So remember what I said there, horizontal. So why is this vertical? Yeah, I mean, I've seen them like at an angle, right? But I've never seen them directly north-south. But, and again, I'm not saying that it hasn't happened before, because it probably has. It's just one of those rare things. But also when this happens, these do have a tendency to flare more often. And that's something else I want to mention. If you guys remember last week, I was telling you about another rare sunspot. Remember how I said, you know, you got positive, negative? Well, that sunspot I showed you last week was negative, positive. Now, we expect 3% of the sunspots to do that. They got the reverse, right? But that's still really, really rare. And then you go ahead and you pop this one on here like a week later. This stuff is happening. That's all I'm saying. So, again, there were radio blackouts up here, guys. Wow, man. That is, again, I just think it's really cool. When I say wow, I'm saying, hey, man, that's cool. So understand that, guys, okay? Ain't never no fear here. Just know that. But as I run through here, right there, that was M-class flare. And then there's the big one there, the biggest one. Now, if you lived in this area, you might have seen, if you were doing, you could have had some communication errors, right? So, most likely, most of us won't even know that this happened, okay? People that use the ham radios, like I said, guys, this is where it starts messing with them. And again, the conditions towards the poles will even be stronger. Remember, when we're talking about these things, we can't just make it a global blanket, right? Okay, because the dark side of the earth, this hit here, so if you go to the opposite side of the earth, they're not experiencing hardly anything. So just keep that in mind. Now, you do, with geomagnetic activity, that stuff will come into the surface, and you'll see reactions globally. And we do see things that happen globally. But this one here, like I said, doesn't look like it spread that, hit that hard. So, yeah, I did, Conchetta. Yeah, I was over there checking that out. Sure did. Yeah, Mike was on Paul Begley's channel last night, talking about that vertical stuff. Because it's an odd thing. It's a very odd thing. And again, guys, go check them all out. Check everybody out. Everybody. Go check everybody you see. Go check them out, please. Because I do think that everybody's going to be talking about this. I really do. And I could get some things wrong. And if I do, I promise I'll come back here and tell you. So just keep that in mind also. That, I really encourage you guys to watch every channel that you can. And just watch it with, at least a little bit of an open mind. But be skeptical at the same time, if you know what I mean. Just try to prove it to yourself, right? Because I'm not out here trying to prove anything to anybody. I'm just trying to show you the data and what I see. And you guys are smart enough that you guys can, you form your own opinions. And I'm not going to ever be the man that comes out here and tries to tell you how to think. I think that's wrong. I think it's disrespectful. And I think it makes people that are watching whoever's doing that, it makes them feel stupid. You guys don't need me to tell you how to think. You guys are really, really smart. And that's the God's honest truth. And something else I'm going to bring up right here real quick, I would challenge anybody to go to another space weather channel or anything, or just another channel in general, and look at the demographics and see how many women are on their channels. I'm about 50%, guys. You won't see that anywhere else. And you guys know why? Because it's exactly what I just said. I don't talk down to people. And, I think it's disrespectful. I really do. And, that's just one of those analytical points that we can look at. And I judge myself on those kinds of things. I'm proud that I have a 50-50 demographic. I really am. And, some of the other channels would be doing really, really good to try to, go towards that kind of a goal. You know, just calm it down a little bit. You know, you don't have to think for your people, guys. You just don't. So I appreciate everybody that comes. I'm humbled every time somebody even clicks on my video. But anyway. So yeah. But here's that sunspot on this view here. And again, guys, this is pretty complex. I look for this thing to keep flaring for a while. It is rotating off, so if it does blow CME, it, you know, it's a good chance it's probably going to miss us as far as the CME goes. Now, you know, we do have a small chance of a G1 storm from an earlier eruption. This one, okay. This is Lascaux C2 on the Soho Observatory, and it's always looking at the sun. It's about 1 million miles closer to the sun. What we've got here, guys, is a partial halo, almost a full. What that means is we're seeing plasma peek out around the occulter. That's an actual black disk blocking out some of the light of the sun. So when we see these kinds of signatures, we call it a halo. Now, when we see these, we don't know if it's going directly away from us or coming right at us. This one here is actually, believe it or not, it's kind of going this way. Okay, and I'll show that to you here in a second. But let me just go ahead and start this. You guys can see how it... I'll let you guys watch this for a second. See that? And again, guys, I think it came from one of the flares. So, but you can tell how it's erupting again, you know, kind of, yeah. So, what is up? All right. So, this is stereo A. This is our side view, okay? And we're not going to get very many good captures over here right now because it doesn't have much data right now. But that, you see that right here? That is that halo eruption. But there is a small chance because this is no longer 90 degrees away from Earth. This satellite that we're looking at is actually is right here. See it? See the yellow dot there? That's Earth. So this satellite here used to be over here. You see the perspective change? This is almost from our point of view now. It's not exact or anything like that, obviously, but yeah, it's creeping closer and closer, and it's supposed to. That's what it's supposed to do. Okay. Hey, good to see you, Courtney. Hey, Red Star. But that is not the M flare that just blew off. Okay, that's CME from one of the earlier M class flares. I believe that might be the halo one that we were looking at. Okay. I could be wrong on that. This one only shows us one at a time. This is the NASA version of this model. But it does look like it could give us a glancing blow. So I think that's what they're talking about. If it does, you know, we're not going to see much from it anyway. Now, given the updates of what we were just talking about, let's take a look at and see what we got. Let's see if we can't find it. I'm sure we will. This is SDO, guys. This is another satellite out in front of the Earth looking at the sun. It's just closer to the Earth than what Soho is. Okay. But this is the 304 angstrom, and again, I'm going to just zoom in here a little bit. And what you're going to see a lot of plasma down here anyway. That's a very, very active area. Because I'm not sure where that new flare came from, which sunspot. Because this sunspot here and this sunspot here, they're both flaring. So, now, let's see here. What time was that? Yeah, see, that isn't the... What time was that? Okay, so we're looking past midday. Remember, this is UTC time, guys. Okay? And these are 3-hour increments down here. So, 3, 6, 9, 12. So, yeah, just past midday UTC. So that would be 8 o'clock Eastern time on the East Coast US. Okay? If you guys want to try to, you know, kind of wrap your brain around that to see where you're actually at with the time zone and stuff. All these tools and stuff typically use UTC, Universal Time. Okay? They do that so we, you know, if everybody was using their own time zones, this stuff would be all over the place and people would get extremely confused. Okay. But anyway, this is that one sunspot, guys. I told you it was north-south, right? So let me back up. And it did flare right there, but it wasn't at noon. Okay. This here is not the flare. The flare happened over here. Which actually, guys, if it flared over here, and if it produced, it doesn't look like it produced much of a CME either, which could be a good thing for us. But because of this position here, it probably would have a better chance of hitting us with a CME. So let me stop it there. Yeah, check it out. So that did not come from the rare one. That's a different sunspot. So yeah, again, guys, the sun can do what it wants, when it wants, and how it wants to do it. And I've said that for so long now. Look at that. The thing's still reaching out. Those are magnetic connection lines, guys, and that's plasma traveling on it. It's going from the north to the south. The polarity we were just talking about. And when those things touch, they explode out. Okay? So, yeah. Hey, Johnny, what's up, bud? Good to see you, man. Hey, if you guys don't know who Johnny is, you're probably living under a rock. But he's a chili head, and he's one of the godfathers is what I call him. But go check out his channel, Chase the Heat. Really, really cool stuff, man. He eats super hots. He does stuff there's no way I could do. Not even close. But he's been very supportive over here. It's just awesome. So, please go check him out if you haven't. It ain't going to hurt. You'll get a good laugh out of a lot of it anyway. Plus, you get to learn about peppers. When my palate got destroyed when I was on antibiotics, I couldn't even eat ketchup. And I learned, basically, I had to retrain my mouth, and I learned that from watching Johnny. So, just know that. And I said that to Johnny before, but, I know it sounds kind of like crazy to say you couldn't even eat ketchup because it burnt my mouth, but it really did. It destroyed my palate. It gave me what they call thrush. And, it really burnt me up for a long time. And now I'm able to eat, I can eat mild hot sauce now, which is leaps and bounds from where I was at. I used to be, I'd probably been standing right next to Johnny eating those super hots. I used to do that a long time ago. Loved it. But, I was the guy that went into B-dubs and ordered the hottest thing they had on the menu. And I didn't do it to try to be masculine. I really liked it. But anyway, so yeah, so that, that's not the rare sunspot, guys. That's it's, yeah. So again, I have to say that the sun can do whatever it wants, whenever it wants, and how it wants to do it. And, but just know, guys, this north-south orientation that we've been talking about here, I have a hard time understanding how that can happen. Hey, Tab, good to see you. Ain't seen you in a minute. Of course, I haven't been streaming during the day, so, yeah, because how sunspots are formed, it's because the equator and the sun is, I think the equatorial regions, I believe, is rotating faster than the poles, right? The pole area of the sun. So the equatorial section of the sun here is rotating, spinning faster. So it pulls those magnetic lines that start off vertical. So as the years progress, what you're going to see, you see where these are at? You'll start seeing sunspots appear. Because they're getting pulled closer to an equatorial region. And then when the sun cycle changes, which means what? A pole flip. So that's called the termination event. And it hits. Not hits, but when they meet, they flip. Boom. Because positive and negative are attracted to each other. So when they do that, that's called the termination effect. And it flips over. And that's what changes your sun cycle. So, but for this, to be north-south is just, it blows my mind. And again, I'm not trying to say it's something we've never seen before. I can tell you the whole time I've been doing YouTube, I've never seen this. I know that. But again, I'm not, You know, I don't have a doctorate in this anything. Hey, just look at my comment section. You'll know that. People tell me that all the time. But you know what? I don't see them making no videos. That's all I can say. But anyway, come on here and blast me for my poor use of the English language. And they're right. But, wow. Anyway. I actually get a good laugh out of that stuff nowadays. But yeah. Yes, I do, Tab. You're right. Exactly. I do have a playlist that has CMEs, solar flares. It's just, they're like 2 or 3 minute videos explaining what those things are. So. But again, guys, that's NASA's version of it. So, okay. Now this is for my my peeps from down under. All right, this is actually an Australian model. I really like this model for the simplicity aspect of it. I've talked about this before. What this is our magnetosphere model. And this right here, this line, it's representing the bow shock. Just like in a boat, our magnetic field actually produces a bow shock. And all that the bow shock is the point at where our magnetic field hits space weather, solar wind. Okay? That's all that the bow shock is. So when this thing is moving around, you're actually moving that contact point. So it will get pushed back. It will expand. You know, there's BP Earthwatch was actually doing a video, oh my God, 5 years ago, talking about compression and rapid expansion. So I learned that from BP Earthwatch. What happens is we'll get hit. It'll push this bow shock back, and then our magnetic field is pushing back even harder. So when we actually start to win that battle again, this bow shock will extend way out here, and then it'll settle back down in its normal, more normal position. So yeah. So let's run this model because, you know, man, you know, our friends from down under here really got this model right. I'm telling you, man. So let's watch it here. And you'll see the bow shock bouncing around. That's what it's supposed to do. Now, you see what happened there? That's the exact example of what I was just talking about. See how it's pushing back out? Because we're getting hit with space weather. So it's trying to compensate, and then you see it get compressed again. This is exactly what it's doing. We just don't know it. You know? And just to give you guys a little bit of an orientation of what you're looking at here, obviously that's the Earth. The sun's off to the left. This is where a lot of our satellites orbit, low Earth orbit, okay? This is important to know where this is at, because if this bow shock, and it does do this, it'll get inside that line. So when that happens, that means that all these satellites out here are being exposed directly to solar wind without the deflection of our magnetic field helping it. Okay? So basically that satellite is open to all the plasma it wants to hit it. Okay? And, you know, they've lost lots of satellites because of that. I mean, it's just something they expect to happen. But that's why. This bow shock will get pushed back here, and it just opens them up. If you want to know what happens when something doesn't have a magnetic field, or if a bow shock was to go away, go look at Mars. It's really that simple. That, you know, it's pretty accepted that Mars had a very similar atmosphere to ours at one time. And there's a lot of theories on what happened there. There could have been a big flare, could have been just an overall pounding, and eventually just lost its magnetic field. Remember, guys, you know, magnetic fields are typically generated, and the majority of it is inside our planet. You know, there's I'm not going to get into that conversation because it takes too long to explain. But essentially, our molten core is rotating, and as we're rotating, and it's just like a generator, I guess, if you want to go down that kind of a mind thought with that. I'm not going to get into specifics because, again, it would be nothing more but just a bunch of word salad, okay? And I don't like doing that. So And that would take a whole video, if not more, to kind of explain all that anyway. But anyway, guys, I think the Australians got this right, man. I'm telling you. Shout out to Alan Valentine. Bye. All them guys over there down under. Heck yeah. Okay. Let's go with, okay, here we go. Sorry, guys. I'm coughing pretty bad today. So, hey, Russell, what's up, bud? Good to see you. Okay, guys. You know, I know my mods are in there handling what's going on and all that. But I want to say this real quick. My mods are doing the right thing, number one. Number two, you know, you can say whatever you need to say as long as it's respectful. You know what I mean? If it's being directly just trying to instigate and playing devil's advocate and stuff like that, people see right through that, honestly. Now I'm just, you know, you do what you need to do there. And, you know, if you want to come at me, you can. Please, throw it all on me. I'll take it. But please don't, you know, just be an adult there in the live chat. Anyway. Aurora. If we do get some CMEs, we're going to see this. Okay? This will start to increase. Hey, Daniel, what's up, bud? Good to see you, man. Hope all's well in your world there, man. So, yeah, guys, you can see this. It's, you know, we're not having very much activity at the moment, okay? So, yeah. But yeah, guys, you know, I actually do laugh at it. I really truly do. And I know some people have a hard time believing that I actually laugh at that stuff. It really actually gives me a chuckle when stuff like that's happening, because it's just, I've been on YouTube long enough, and you know, it's it's almost comical, because yeah, it just doesn't. As long as it's not personally attacking somebody, you know, calling people names and vulgar, you come out here and tell me I'm stupid all day long if you want. Honestly, you can have that opinion. Just I would ask you not to talk bad about any other channel or anybody in my live chat. So you can come attack me all day long, okay? Anyway, so you got R2 there, and again, guys, I do think that this is going to continue. With this, now we see where that came from. It came from over here. Okay, it didn't come from this one rotating off. This one here is rotating in. Okay, so within the next 2 or 3 days, it's going to be right in front of us. Yeah, I think so too, Tanya Lynn. I really do. I think so too. It's going to be a little busy. But I also want to show you guys this, and I already showed it to you, but I think this is really interesting. This is one of those things that you don't see a whole lot of. A real deep, dark coronal hole. Now, that black that you see is actually the surface of the sun. People ask me why that's black. They ask me, hey, is that a hole through the sun? And it's a legitimate question. It really is, because that's really what your mind goes to, right? What that is, all this is when you see a darker color on these extreme ultraviolet captures, the darker colors are colder. Okay, so wrap your brain around that. The surface of the sun is colder than the corona, than its atmosphere. It's puzzled scientists for years. It really has. They sent the Parker SP probe out there to kiss the sun, and that's what they're trying to figure out, why that actually happens. Why is the surface colder than what's above it? So, you know what I mean? But that is not a hole through the sun. It's actually a hole in the corona. You see the haze? So that's the corona. Basically it's the sun's atmosphere. So when that opens up, it exposes the surface of the sun basically just out into space, and that's how all those highly charged particles just start flowing out. Hill, you're killing me, man. Wow. Love it, man. Love it. That's one of the best ones I've heard in a while. Here, I'm going to read that one. Matter of fact, I'm going to read that one. Hilly says, Mark, if you eat a big bar of X-Lax, you will stop coughing. You won't dare cough. He's right. Faux show. Oh, man. Yeah, through a screen door from 30 feet, right? Ain't that what they say? Anyway, sorry. I don't mean to be gross. So, yeah, guys. You know, well, I'm going to keep an eye on it, guys. There's not really much more to show you other than what I've already shown you. We can look at their forecast. They haven't changed their forecast yet. Okay. But there still is a 10% chance that for the next 3 days of an X flare. And again, that's actually kind of high. They typically don't give it that high of a rating, percentage of happening. It usually hangs right around 1 or 5%. So when that starts coming up, we start paying attention. And obviously there's a reason for it right here. It's starting to happen. So, and as we go into September, guys, September is historically the most active time for the sun. Okay. And there's also something called the 5.9 month, cycle. And I'm not going to get into exactly what all that is. But essentially it lets us know when we can expect a, increase or a more active time on the sun, breaking it down to like months instead of like stretching that out over 11 years. It's really, it's a good way to look at it, because I'll tell you what, when you go back and look at the historic data, you can really see the patterns, and they just continue to repeat. And the same patterns are repeating. It's just right now the sun cycle is actually stronger. Okay, it's the pattern of all the eruptions and stuff is pretty much the same. It's just things are more intense. And we're seeing more sunspots than what they thought we were going to. And we've talked about that so much here. And right here's the sunspot number. You can see where we haven't even come close to their predicted value. We've been above every month. Okay? So that should tell you. You know, if this kind of trend holds true, and you're going to see what we call a double trough or a trough. You'll see a peak. Basically, you're getting a double peak inside a solar cycle. You see it here and here. You had 2 peaks. This here looks like it might have been a peak. I'm not sure. Can't say that it is yet, but we'll keep an eye on it. But it definitely will. It'll peak and then it'll drop down low for a few months. Then it'll peak again. So, yeah. Okay. Now, all right. So, let's go over here to spaceweather.com. Please go give them some love, guys. Dr. Phillips does an awesome job over here. He wrote a really good article on that strange sunspot. Okay, if you guys come over here and you go over here to the date, you change the date to the day before and hit view, it takes you back to yesterday's capture, and that's what they're talking about here. Here's that sunspot, and he wrote an article on this. Click on the links here that he's got and read his article, and you'll really have a really good understanding of what's actually going on. And it, you know, strangely magnetized sunspot is how he worded it. And I couldn't find any like percentages of how many we're supposed to see like that in a sun cycle. It's really that like that, guys. But you can take this date back as far as you want, but please go give them some love. They deserve it. They do really good work over here. Dr. Phillips does. You can also sign up for space weather alerts over here. I believe that's a pay alert thing though. You have to pay for it, but you know, I don't think it's very expensive. But it'll hit your phone. You get these big eruptions and it'll hit your phone. So, you know what I mean? So if you're out and about and you really want to kind of keep up on things, it's worth it for sure. Oh, something else. Here, this is the near-Earth object. Okay, basically these are asteroids and meteorites. We had 3 of them yesterday that came, well, August 20th anyway, that came with 0.5 lunar distance. Okay, what that means is the distance it missed us by was the distance of halfway to our moon. Inside the moon orbit, right? It doesn't mean it was inside our orbit or anything, it's just how close it came to us. And that's how they judge these things. Now you're looking at what, 100 and let's see here, roughly 115,000 miles or kilometers. I think that's miles. Would be about halfway to the sun or to the moon. I think it's 238,000 roughly miles to the moon. So we're talking in hundreds of thousands of miles, but when you're talking about the expanse of space, that's not that far. Even 93 million miles really truly isn't that far. And that's the distance between us and the sun. Mama Sap, they have come out with better technology now, okay? But I definitely wouldn't trust it. It's something that you really got to pay attention to. Anybody that's got pacemakers, the doctors will tell you that now. They really will. They'll tell you, hey, if you see solar weather, just pay attention. Now, I don't think it's going to mess with the pacemaker, but there's other things that happen to our bodies during those things, right? So, yeah. You can come over here too, guys, at spaceweather.com and get their, what I like about what he does here, you see this over here? That's mid-latitude. So we got about a 10% chance to have active conditions at mid-latitude. High latitude, you're looking at those percentages. So he's breaking it down into sections of our planet, from equatorial to mid-latitude to high latitude. So it's really cool if you do that, because it does help people understand that we're not going to experience the same kind of geomagnetic conditions consistent on a global scale. It's going to be different to your location. And also something else, I want to share something with you guys too here. We had those big auroras that were happening. We were talking about a possible G3 storm, and we had a bunch of CMEs hit, but they just weren't that strong, right? But just know this, that when we get hit with the bigger ones, if you're up here like close to the poles in this area, high latitudes, and we get hit with and pretend the sun here is the Earth, okay? And we get hit with a bigger solar flare with the CME or whatever, the CME part of it. When it hits, sometimes the guys that are living up here, believe it or not, they actually have to go outside and look south to see the aurora. Doesn't that just like blow your mind? Because we're always trained to look towards the poles for aurora, which is majority of the time that's the case. But when we get hit with the big ones, the people in the northern and the southern, people closer to the poles, have to actually turn around and look towards the equator, or they'll miss them. So that's something we got to understand. And that points to that our magnetic field is not consistent across our planet. It's just not. That's why we have to look at different locations. We can get cracks. We can get the South Atlantic anomaly stays messed up. And I've talked about that before. It would just, yeah. But I'm not going to show that now. It's just down in the southern hemisphere. There's a place over the Atlantic and over South America, and now it's stretched over to Africa, and it's almost split in two. So now we have like 2 different messed up areas down there. And it's all pointing towards our inevitable pole flip. That's what's going to happen eventually, right? Now, I can't say when it's going to, and I never would even try to. Because, in my opinion, it's a humongous mistake to put a date on anything. Okay, because a couple things happen. If you're wrong, then you got to come out and you got two choices. You can move the goalpost back, which is what most people do, or you can just come out and say, hey, I was wrong. I shouldn't have done that. You know what I mean? Now, we can have our opinions, right? We can share our opinions. But when you state something that's factually going to happen on a specific day, guys, that's a mistake. Because what happens is, if you're only going to be right one time, that's it. Every other time that you said something like that, you're wrong. What does that do? It destroys your credibility. People won't listen to you. And I'm speaking to most people and to people that are running channels, basically. Just don't do that. It's not productive. You know? You gotta stay ready. Don't get ready, guys. Stay ready. Hey, Jeff, good to see you, brother. You gotta stay ready. You know, I'm a Christian, so I go back to the Bible with a lot of stuff. And, you got to keep oil in your lamp, guys. You have to. Don't wait to go run down the street trying to find some when the time's right. Keep it there, because you don't know when it's coming. Right? And I'm not going to go into a spiritual conversation here, but that's the whole premise behind that. I hear so many people say, well, you got to get ready, guys. Got to get ready. Well, let's just stay ready, guys. Okay? I'm not saying we're not going to make mistakes, because we absolutely will. But do the best you can to keep oil in your lamp on everything that you're doing. That's just an analogy. I ain't telling you to go outside and go to the store and get lamps and put oil and stuff in them. That's just something they used back in when Jesus was walking the earth, right? That's just something that they used and said. That's how that was life for them back then. They had to keep oil in the lamp so they would have light. And the analogy there was, when he comes back, he's going to come back. You're not going to see him unless you got your light on, right? So you got to have oil in it. You can't wait, is what I'm trying to say. And it's not even, just for whatever your religious beliefs are. I'm not even trying to go down that road. But it applies to everything in your life. It really does. And I mean everything. If you try to stay ready, that's the whole idea behind prepping. That's the whole idea of just trying to look ahead a little bit, so when things do happen, you're not, just taken by surprise. Now, I've said this before too, guys. That's why I don't like fear, right? We make really, really, really bad decisions when we're scared. So when I come out here and talk about what I just talked about, right? There's going to be somebody out there saying that I'm spreading fear. And I'm actually trying my best not to. I'm just simply giving you the information. But what if I never said a word about this to anybody, and neither did anybody else, and then something happened and you're going to be standing around looking around like, what the heck? And you're going to be frightened, right? Then you're going to be scared. Then you're going to make bad decisions. So what happens is you need to understand what's going on and just pay attention. Don't fear it. Just pay attention. That way, when it does happen, you can make a better decision. So, yeah, you're right, Greta. 100%. Fear is, there's just nothing, I don't want to say nothing positive comes from fear, because there is a thing of fear that can keep us safe, right? Like, I don't know, maybe you're riding your bike or something, you look over a cliff and you start to wiggle a little bit, getting ready to lose it. You might want to stop for a second, right? That's a good fear. I'm not saying, and what I'm saying there is that you don't have to live in that state, okay? Because you'll make bad decisions, you'll be a miserable person, and what the heck we even doing here if we're going to live like that? You know what I mean? When more or less could the CME? Well, there might not be a CME. I don't know yet. Lubomir, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, bud. But I would, like I said, guys, that flare happened, and we can have flares without CMEs. So I'll update this one more time here, and we'll take a look and see if it's going to do anything. Usually with the higher M-class flare, typically you're going to get some sort of an eruption with it. But let's find out. So we're going to watch right here because that's where the flare happens. Let's see. Now see, it's still hard to tell. What I can say is I didn't see any of this. That's plasma. If you watch up here, I seen another eruption kind of behind the limb. I'll show you what I mean. You back it up. See that one? Watch this sunspot right here. See it flare? It's flaring right there. Now watch what happens after it flares. See that? That's plasma getting shot out. Now that's a smaller eruption. I mean, we're not going to get nothing from that thing. But if you look down here on that M flare, I don't think we've seen that. Yeah, there was no eruption with that, it looks to be. Now, again, guys, there could be. I can't say 100% yet. But what we can do, though, sometimes if you want to know if there's an eruption, come over here to the 211. And the reason why I choose the 211, that angstrom of light, is because it does show a lot of the corona. And if the corona gets disrupted, you'll actually see like waves go across the sun in this view. If that's happening, that means that's plasma moving. So we can kind of see if it opens up and explodes out. So let's take a look at it and see what happens. So we're going to be looking here. Okay. I didn't see much. Well, you know what? I don't think I updated it. Dummy. Rookie mistake. Rookie mistake. All right. Let's check it out. See if it happens. Yeah, I'm not seeing a whole lot of an eruption. If it is a CME with that, it's not going to be a big one. Okay. So we'll just have to keep that in mind. Hey, Christine, good to see you. Hey, I seen your video where you used Mark's song. That was pretty cool. I liked it. Good video, girl. But watch this, guys, up here. You'll see what I'm talking about. I've shown you guys this probably 100 times, but watch this. Watch the corona. It'll open up. See that? See how it opened up? Basically, that's a CME that erupted out. Okay? But I think this is so interesting right here. I don't know that I've ever seen one quite like that. But, yeah. Oh, you delete it? How come? You don't have to answer that if you don't need to. I'm just curious. That's all. No biggie. You ain't got to answer that, Christina. Don't worry about it. You got your reasons, I'm sure. But yeah. Yeah. Okay, guys. Listen. I'm gonna be doing a live stream later on tonight over on the lifeboat with my boy Tommy, my brother. We're gonna try to take some calls. Hey, Major, what's up? We're gonna try to take some calls tonight. Okay. So we got it. We go live at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock West Coast. We're going to try to take some calls. It'll be the first time that we're testing it out. Okay. So have some patience if you guys come over here. What? We are? Are you not wanting to do that tonight? Or are you saying, yeah, we are? I'm not. If we're not, let me know. That way I don't tell people that. I'm pretty sure we're going to go ahead and give it a shot unless you want to try something different, man. Just let me know. Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Anyway. Sweet, Jeff. Call in, brother, over on the lifeboat. I tell you what. Hey, Raven, what's up? Hey, can somebody, one of the mods, drop the link to that in there, please? Hey, John. You didn't? Yes, guys. You got to check your notifications just so you know. I'm sorry you're in pain there, girl. I hate to hear that about anybody being in pain. Sucks. Yeah, it's called the lifeboat. Yeah, we're gonna do. Oh, that's cool. You're good. Yeah, it's called the lifeboat, guys. You guys want to hang out here just for a second, and I'll go over there. We'll get that. We'll get it in the chat. I usually have it pulled up and ready to go anyway. But check out Rip too, guys. Rip Crow Readiness. Check out everybody, please. This community is really, really cool. It really is, guys. I can't say it any different. Why is that not? Okay, there we go. Let's do this. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. What I'll do here, guys, I'm going to go down the video list here. And the only reason why I'm doing this is because I know people are curious about what I've been through, right? People here on Wages World. So what I'll do, I'm going to leave a link to this one, okay? You guys can read that. I'm not going to say the word because the algorithm hates it, okay? But I'm going to share this one to you guys real quick. Okay, sorry about that. But I'm going to share this one in the chat. And then just sub to the channel, come back tonight, check out the call-in. Again, guys, it's a recovery channel. It's basically an online family is what we call it. But it's a group. You know, anybody's had any kind of addiction, alcohol to opiates to food, pornography, all that stuff. Hey, what's up, OJ? Good to see you. Hey, Christine, thanks for dropping that in there. Ripper's awesome, guys. You know, he's going through some stuff right now too, guys. So please give him some love, throw him some prayers. I think we all can, you know, relate to that. And you know, guys, you know, I'm going through some stuff too myself. Again, I'm not going to get into any of that, but just know that I'm trying my best to be on here as much as I can. Yeah, sorry about that, Raven. I hate to, yeah. Hey, John, what's up? You call that lazy? Getting up at 8:30? My gosh, dude. Man. I call that early. Sorry. Sorry, guys. I didn't mean to cough in the mic there. Sorry. Wow. Exactly, Tommy. Exactly, Raven. You need to talk to somebody, you call us. You ain't got to call on air. Okay? Hey, thanks, Jeff. Appreciate you, bud. Guys, you got to check out Jeff's channel, too. I know he doesn't post much anymore, but he's got some really good content. Go check him out. Okay. And again, guys, I get asked all the time, and I'm just going to go. I'll tell you what I'll do real quick. Back to my channel. God 30. Yeah, yeah, Tina, that's a good one. I get asked all the time, who do I watch? What channels do I watch? Guys, I don't hide my sub list. It's there. Okay? It's all there. You know, if you look at this, when I clicked on this, what did it say? It was already like showing 20 of them. Here, we'll hit show less. There's 82 more channels after what's here. Absolutely, I could not shout everybody out like that, guys. Okay? Thanks, Kindred. Appreciate you. Hey, thanks, Leslie. Cool. Hope you guys come back for the call-in show. I really do. I think it's going to be something cool, something neat, and, you know, it's going to give us a direct line of communication with somebody that might be struggling or just has a question, right? And what you'll find is when you walk in the door over there, you're going to get welcomed probably by about 20 people. And they don't, and they mean it. You know, Flamin' Jackson's going to tell you he loves you the first sentence out of his mouth, and he actually means it. And man, I tell you what, and I believe him. You know, some people say that stuff just to be whatever. It definitely is. When he says it, he means it. Oh, really? Like to hear your story, Leslie, for sure. Come on over and check it out. It's we usually do a pretty good show. I mean, you know, we really try to focus on the communication between us and everybody in the chat. We usually have a topic, but if stuff is happening and people are asking questions, we will concentrate more on that. And you know, that's the best way to be. Yeah, Jackson means it for sure. He was an addiction RN. I bet you got some good insight then. I'm serious, Susan. Please come over there. You know, teach us something. I'm serious about that. You know, that's a really good perspective for people to understand from a nurse's point of view. Because you're there after the doctor isn't. So you're actually getting to see what's going on with these people. So I would love to hear some stuff like that. You know. But yeah. Okay, guys. I am going to go ahead and pop off. I'm going to have to go take some medicine, try to lay down. But yeah. Hey, Surgery, what's up? Man, I'd stay on here all day and talk to you guys, but yeah. Okay, guys. I am going to go ahead and pop off, guys. Love all you guys. If anything else happens, I'll be on here to let you know. Okay, guys? Stay strong. Come over and check us out tonight. If anything else happens here, I promise you I'll come back on and at least give you guys an update, okay? Even if it's short. Go check out Marf also, okay? I'm telling you guys, it's all one big family. It really, truly is. And you know, Mark Pires, same thing. And again, I can't say everybody. But if you like peppers, go check out Johnny Scoville. I'm telling you guys. Go check it out. All right, guys. God bless. Yahusha saves. And, yeah, you can drink this Kool-Aid.